What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumbass. Like and subscribe. So, little clogation up in here, little sinus clogation. So, bear with it. But I did want to talk about the leaks of the new future hardware of both the PlayStation 6 and the new Xbox Magnus. I think they should call it the Xbox Ultra. Because Ultra Mac, you get it? Ultra Mac. Even though he wasn't the best Transformer, and he kind of sucked. But he did curse. I think he was the first Transformer to curse in history. I think. Anyway, he died. So maybe that's not the best name. But anyway, Magnus, code name, blah, blah, blah. The most interesting thing about it, which I didn't realize until today because I didn't look into it, I just heard the numbers, right? You say, oh, it has this many T-flops, and it has this many cores, and it has this many bleep bloops, and it has this many zip zaps, right? This much RAM, and this much the level 1 and 2 and 3, and all this stuff, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. It's more than the previous. But what I didn't realize, which is interesting, to say the least, is that it's not an APU. It's a CPU and a GPU next to each other. And so I'm like, hold up. So what this means, so I don't know why people do. So what this means is that they could say have one CPU, be like, boom, here's the CPU, all our systems, same CPU, right? Right? And then they can say, okay, now GPU wise, we want it to be boop boop boop. We want some flavor. We want some variation. So we got the little low end, we got the mid, we got the high, whatever they want to do. I mean, and also if they're doing OEM stuff, they'd be like, y'all can do whatever y'all want, but this is what you can do. Go at it. And so there's always kind of, I mean, similar to how PCs are built. There is a range of specifications that the GPUs do and the CPUs are, and well, I think this is mainly a GPU thing, but we'll see. And so I'm like, okay, that's super interesting because it's more akin to the architecture of a traditional PC, meaning separate CPU, GPU, not an APU. Yes, it's shared RAM, but they say 32 gigs, right? Which is cool. Which means probably, what would that mean? Eight. I think I can use eight for system. No, that's too much. Is it though? 8 for system and then 24 for graphics. 8 for the CPU, 24 for. It's more akin to a PC, meaning PC could have up to 16 gigs of RAM. I mean, actually, you can have as much RAM as you want. You can have 64 gigs of RAM, but your graphics card has its own dedicated VRAM, and so that's where the split happens. Now, if it's what I wish that they could do, I'm pretty sure they could. I'm not sure, but there'd be different kind of profiles that allocate different amounts of RAM per CPU and GPU. That would be cool. So you'd be like, okay, you want low power CPU, high power GPU, bam. There you go. Four gigs for CPU, which is ridiculous. That's not enough. And then, what would that be? 28 for GPU? That's crazy. But they said that, what was it, 10 core, 20 thread? I'm like, I never heard of that before. That's crazy. So, like, 10 core, 20 thread, I'm like, I mean, that's more powerful than what the next PlayStation is supposed to be 8 core, 16 threads with 32 gigs of RAM. Already is weaker. I believe, I mean, the size of the chip is kind of irrelevant because I believe it's a 3 nanometer process, but it's 2 separate chips. So I think the CPU is 180 something, maybe 160 something, and the GPU is 264. I don't remember. I don't remember the sizes, but CPU is smaller than GPU. Let's just put it that way. And so, what else am I missing? It is just for the Xbox stuff, because I mean the PlayStation stuff is like it's a PlayStation 5 Pro. That's all it is. To be honest, that's what it is. And they're gonna do the same APU stuff. They're gonna backwards compatibility, PlayStation 4 or 5, blah blah blah, right? But I think they're doing the same thing that they're kind of doing. And people are saying, "Oh, it's gonna be blah blah blah, so it'll be cheaper than a PlayStation 5 Pro." I'm like, what? Explain to me how a PlayStation 6 is going to be cheaper than a PlayStation 5 Pro. Explain to me how that's possible. Explain to me how a brand new state-of-the-art, more powerful console is going to be cheaper than a Pistol Tech 5 Potato. Explain that to me, please. I'll wait. It's not going to be, okay? Let's be real. The PlayStation 5 Pro $799. The PS6 at least is gonna be $849. I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say at least $849. I'll be real, $899. $899. That's what they're gonna do. Or if it's gonna come out in 2028, I'll say $799. It'll be the same price as a Pistol Tech 5 Potato. It ain't gonna be cheaper. What are you out of your mind? How do you figure? How do you figure? It's got more faster RAM. It's got blah 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 blah. Nah, son. Come on, son. No, it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be. And they're not losing no money off of it. No, it's not gonna be. And people say, oh well, it's gonna be cheaper to try to be the cheaper option for people to buy the system, blah blah. And I'm like, once people figure out what each machine can do, then the price differential will be there, but it will be worth the money to pay the extra money to get a better system. It's like you get what you pay for. And the thing about you get what you pay for is the new people who are going to be buying these consoles. And when I say new people, I don't mean like the new generation. I mean them too as well, but I mean everybody. So there are hundreds of thousands there are millions of PC players who will buy this. Because A, it's cheaper, it's gonna be cheaper than a comparable built PC, and B, it's something they can just throw underneath their TV. They 79-inch TV, the 122-inch TV in the living room. They say, I don't want to put a big bulky PC in the living room. You got a nice sleek box. Bam! That's what's up. That's what they want. That's what I want. I mean, I want access to Steam because I get more games on Steam, and our game's gonna be on Steam, so I can play a game on a big giant TV. I've been testing the game and stuff instead of on my laptop, which is not ideal, but you know, it works. So the more that they're talking about these systems of the future, even the Nintendo Switch too, like I don't know how. Here's what's gonna happen with the Nintendo Switch 2. The Nintendo Switch 2's survival or success will be predicated and dictated by the quality and quantity of their first party game, their games. Let's just say that. I don't want to say first party because that's a given. So if they like it in the Mac when it comes to their first party, which so far I'd say they're 50-50. You know, Mario Kart World is cool, but it ain't the best. I think Donkey Kong is better and it's cheaper, but whatever. So we'll see what Zelda comes out like. I mean, they'll be good, but will it be enough? That's the thing. I don't know if it will be. And then the generation that made the Switch successful will be moving on to greener pastures, if you will, more powerful handhelds. And guess who's stepping in? PlayStation and Xbox. So they have more options. They'll be like, I'm done with these kiddie games. I want to play some Call of Duty. Let's go. I want to play it better. Oh, I got Steam. I got, you know? So Nintendo's there. They'll always have their success. But, you know, if you look at every console generation as far as Nintendo goes, NES, bam! Super NES, a little bit lower because they had competition. N64, what? GameCube, Wii, whoa! Wii U, uh-oh. Switch, whoa! Switch 2, to be determined. Sorry, I got bogus snot. Anyway, so I don't know. They're messing up big time, but whatever. Oh no, it's Alex did his thing. He did he did like a whole 40 minutes on it, talking about I guess Nintendo Prime or whoever the clown is. I was like, whatever. Maybe one day I'll be famous enough to be talked about and such. To have videos done about me. I don't think so, but that's all good because it's part of the adventure. Anyway, these specs for these consoles. So if you look spec to spec, right? You look at the Pistol Tech 6. I don't know what they're gonna call it, and then you look at the Xbox Magnus, Ultra Magnus, Xbox Ultra. Um, Xbox is more powerful. It's got more cores, got more threads. It has the same amount of RAM. I believe it's faster. I think is it 386? No, what's the bus on that? 390. It's faster. It's faster than the PlayStation. And so I'm like, okay. Looking at all the numbers, I'm like, all right. It'll be probably more expensive. Don't matter because of what it is. It's like, oh, it's a PC hybrid, so it doesn't count. It's not a console. It's like, that's where you're wrong. Because what they're doing is they're making their console more like a PC in the way that the chips are, the architecture is inside the chips set up and all those things, right? And by doing that, by making it closer to PC, it gives them the opportunity to just make one version that works on both, which cuts down production by, I don't know, let's just say half. I don't think that's the case, but it cuts it down a significant amount, right? And so it's smart business wise, and it allows them to have a better hardware, a better console, more adaptable console, instead of having to make a bespoke pro version like PlayStation had to do. They could just be like, yo, put the more better graphics GPU up on the new silicon, on the new boards. Same board, same CPU, just put a different graphics chip on it. Boom! That's how you update. That's how you upgrade. And they could literally say, okay, it's been 3 years. Let's do an upgrade on the graphics. From now on, we're doing whatever the equivalent. If they're at the 10 series by then, the 10. So it's the Xbox X, the Xbox 10, the X. I don't know what they would call it. Maybe it's something comparable to the equivalency of whatever graphics processors they have in there, so that it's a little bit of familiar nomenclature. I don't know. Instead of having to rely on Digital Foundry to say, oh, this one is like the 40 series, and we don't have to do that. We can just be like, yeah, that's what it is, because that's the graphics card they put in it, and that's what it is. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see how they name stuff. I mean, they haven't been the best at naming, but maybe they could turn that around. Maybe it's the Xbox Ultra. So they have the Ultra one. I don't know, how would they do that? Ultra S, the Ultra X. Nah, I don't know if they want to. Maybe they'll probably still stick with the S and X. Have the two, but the thing about this is that this affords them the opportunity to go beyond just the two SKUs, traditionally speaking. Because now what they're doing is they're positioning the new Xbox to be more akin to graphics card iterations, rather than just consoles. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, if they just switch out the graphics cards in it, then it's like, this is the Xbox Magnus 9900 edition. This is the Xbox Magnus 10,000 edition, or whatever. And if you look at the rhythm of when they release graphics cards, I guess AMD, right? Is it every year, or I don't know? Is it every 18 months? I don't even pay attention that much. So even if it's every 2 years, which is sooner than like the mid-gen refresh stuff is, then that would be a good point where they could say, okay, let's adopt a new graphics front end or back end or whatever, middle end, and they can put that in their new system and say, this is the new upgrade. Boom, there you go. And they can keep doing that until they say, okay, next gen, that's when we hook up the CPU. And of course, the GPUs can go up or down or whatever. That's kind of cool. It's like, I don't know if that's how they're going to do it, but it feels like an evolution of how things were going into how things should be, if that makes sense. Because how things were is the consoles starting from, I'm going to say, I don't know if it's the OG Xbox, maybe the Xbox One, PS4, were basically laptops, APUs. They're basically laptops, right? And so I'm like, okay, that's fine, but those are underpowered. They're always underpowered. So now what they're doing is more akin to something like, it feels like it's more like a proper PC, where it's a separate CPU, GPU on the board. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that means something different, and it's exciting to see that someone is taking a chance on doing some different architecture as far as technology, as far as the chips and the silicon to progress gaming. I give props to Sony for the PS3 back in the day. They tried something new, but the problem with that was they tried to do it, but their motivation was more about copy protection and anti-piracy stuff than actual, let's make this easy for the devs and more powerful. They claimed it was more powerful. I guess it was, but nobody knew how to use it because it was so difficult. So it doesn't matter how powerful it is if nobody can use it. So that was the problem with the PS3. And so, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be dope. I think I'm definitely gonna get one. We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But anyway, I appreciate your hand, show. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the specs on these two new consoles, the Xbox Magnus and the PS6 6, whatever is gonna be, whatever. PS6, so hot trash, so hot trashy. What you gonna do? I don't know. But yeah, that's all I got. I appreciate. I'll talk to you on the next one. Sweet.